Hey guys, how you doing? Hope you're doing okay. I'm gonna try to give you an overview of this tragic situation as opposed to read every last word in the article. I will skim through it as I work through just to make sure that I do remember to give you all of the key details. And it is a tragic story. There's a link in the description. It involves the death of a 3-month-old baby boy killed at the hands of the boy's father, the scumbag that you see in front of you. Shane Michael Morris. He's from Iowa. He's 27 years of age. And we will see some details as to the injuries that the 3-month-old baby boy suffered. So I am providing a trigger warning. But we'll give you an overview and we'll just try our best to give you all of the information. If you like this type of content, please do like, comment, subscribe. But we'll go through the details more closely at this point. An Iowa man has been sentenced to serve up to 50 years in prison after a jury convicted him of involuntary manslaughter and child endangerment resulting in death. We see the scumbag. His name is Shane Michael Morris, 27 years of age, from Iowa. He was sentenced on Friday. The case had been dragging through the courts for 2 years. For various reasons. The actual incident occurred on August the 3rd, 2019. The scumbag in question was taking care of the 3-month-old boy, which we believe his name to be Xander Michael Morris. So the scumbag was taking care, looking after the child, at which point the child died. He suffered a skull fracture. He was taken to hospital. He was helicoptered to a different hospital, a specialist hospital, and the doctors felt that attempting to save his life was futile, so they turned off the life-saving devices. He died shortly thereafter, and that was the following day. So he died August the 4th, 2019. His name was Xander Michael Morris. So we're going to have a look at some of the details pertaining to the incident and the injuries suffered. On the day in question, August the 3rd, the mother had left for work during the morning. At 7:30 a.m., the defendant, the scumbag, the father, brought the child to Floyd County Medical Center because the child was having trouble breathing. The defendant, the scumbag, the father, told the baby's mother to meet him at the hospital. Apparently, the scumbag, the father, claimed that in regards to how the child was injured, the scumbag initially claimed that while walking with the child in his arms, he tripped and the child's head struck the edge of their kitchen counter. And then he apparently fell on top of young Xander, the 3-month-old. Authorities did not believe that story. They saw through it straight away, apparently. As I mentioned, the child, Xander, 3-month-old, was taken to a local hospital and then flown by helicopter to the Mayo Clinic in Minnesota, where the medical staff found a large bulge in the infant's skull, and they found a fracture which was determined to unlikely be accidental. So the medical personnel were able to identify the severity of the 3-month-old boy's injuries, and also, from their conclusion, their belief that they wouldn't have been accidental injuries. They wouldn't have been sustained from an accident. After weighing their options, doctors reportedly deemed medical care futile. Life support was discontinued the following day, August the 4th, 2019, and Xander was pronounced dead several minutes later. Investigators believe that the child died by blunt force trauma and that the manner of death was listed as homicide. Now, another twist to this story, or another aspect to this story, is that the child's mother believed, or at least said she believed, the defendant, the scumbag, story. And they subsequently had another child together. Thankfully, that child was taken away by Child Protective Services. So let's carry on. The article tells us that the scumbag in question was initially charged with first-degree murder, and a jury found him guilty of a lesser charge of involuntary manslaughter. So in Iowa, first-degree murder requires a finding that a defendant acted with premeditation. The jury apparently weren't able to believe that the incident, the attack on the 3-month-old boy, was premeditated, and as such, the charge of involuntary manslaughter came into play, and thankfully he was convicted of that. And again, thankfully, he has been sentenced to serve up to 50 years in prison. The concerning aspect is the up to part. So I don't know what opportunities he would have in regards to parole. Prosecutors reportedly said that the scumbag's version of the story didn't make sense. They pointed to the expert who said the baby's injuries were unlikely to have resulted from an accident. Court records say that the scumbag was also ordered to pay $10,500 in costs and must also pay $150,000 in restitution. I'm going to comment on that. I'm going to just throw my 2 cents in there. You may or may not be interested in this part. I'm not that interested in the financial aspects, the financial penalties that this scumbag has to face, or any other scumbag in a similar situation has to face. I don't really care. It's like, to me, it's neither here nor there. It's not significant. The significant aspect is the sentencing, the jail term, and the accessibility to parole, and whether or not there's the death penalty. For me, I would impose the death penalty for any child murderer. Perhaps even include someone that committed manslaughter of a child. I'd perhaps subject them to the death penalty if it were up to me. And I wouldn't put them on a 5-year, 10-year death row waiting period. No. I'd take them right into the back of the courtroom. They should have a nice little concrete cell or such, where a job can be done pretty swiftly, and then they can be chucked out in a hole around the back or something like that. I would not give them any of the taxpayers' money to fund their existence. I'd get them off the earth as quickly as is possible. In any case, to me, the restitution part of it is kind of nonsense. I mean, who knows if this guy has $150,000 to be able to pay? My guess is they don't. I don't know, but it just seems all a little bit academic to me. The important part of this is that this guy literally killed his own son, a 3-month-old baby boy. We believe his name to be Xander. And again, blunt force trauma. Taken off the life-saving devices after a day. Fractured skull. We're just seeing this time and time again. And the culprit, the scumbag in question, again, we're seeing the same thing. They deny it. Oh, it was an accident. We tripped. We fell. They hit their head on something. I mean, thankfully, the investigators have the resources, have the tools, have the knowledge, have the science to be able to identify whether or not such lies are true or not. And thankfully, justice has taken place. I will say, in my opinion, justice has taken place. Some may argue that he got off on manslaughter. He should have been charged with murder. But for me, personally, where I'm from my point of view, I'm just happy that he has received a lengthy sentence. I'd rather see the death penalty. I'd rather see a longer sentence. I'd rather see no opportunity of parole. But given that we see so much soft sentencing, and I will say notably in America and arguably Australia too, But there is soft sentencing out there, perhaps not so much in the United States. I'll pay attention to that. And I'm rambling, sorry. But I'll wrap things up here. It is a tragic story. And I'd like to say condolences to the family concerned. But the mother forgave him. The mother believed him. The mother had a second child by this guy. I've got to say, pardon my French, what the fuck are you thinking, you dumb fucking... I can't even say the word I want to say. Why are people like this? Why do people enable... I keep using this word. I think it's so important. And I think it happens so frequently. And yes, it happens in these incredibly severe circumstances. But it also happens all day long. People excuse other people's bad behavior in a million different ways all day long. Why do we do that? I don't do it. I'm pretty good at not enabling, I think. I'm sure I do it to some extent. But why do we do that? How can a mother... allow me to be crude. How can a mother sleep with, allow themselves to be sexually touched by the man that knowingly killed her own child? How, what is that? I don't know. I'm going to wrap things up here. If you do like this type of video, if you like this kind of content, please do give me some encouragement. I'm really, really trying to concentrate on this channel. I'm really trying to make multiple videos daily in regards to this. Perhaps you like these videos. Perhaps you prefer it when I do them short and sweet. Let me know. If you're able to give me any level of encouragement, that would be great. I'll like, comment, subscribe, share the video. Maybe I'll be doing memberships before long. If so, please do help me out by joining. But I'll thank you for your time. And I'll move on to the next video.